Wait! Don't be hurried to scroll past. I'm going to assume that you have seen a cargo ship before. Maybe in a movie, maybe at a port, maybe just on YouTube. Big, massive, the size of a whole building moving on water. And you looked at it and thought, that thing is carrying goods, containers, products. That's it. But I need to tell you something. Right now, as that ship is moving through the ocean, it is also carrying something else. Something nobody told you about. Something that is quietly causing one of the biggest environmental disasters happening in the world's oceans right now. And it is not oil. It is not chemicals. It is not waste. It is water.
Now, let me explain what is happening. You know how when you are carrying something heavy, a bag, a load, anything, you are more stable, more grounded. You don't wobble. But when you put that load down and walk away empty-handed, suddenly you feel lighter. You might even stumble a little. That is exactly what happens to a ship. When a cargo ship delivers its goods and the cargo hold becomes empty, the ship becomes dangerously light. Too light. It sits too high in the water. The waves start pushing it around. The propeller comes out of the water. The whole thing becomes unstable and difficult to control. A ship would pop up like a cork and become unstable. To avoid this risk, ballast water is used as extra weight added to a ship when it unloads its cargo. So, what do? They pump water, seawater, straight from the ocean right there at the port, into massive tanks built into the bottom of the ship called ballast tanks. That water adds weight, keeps the ship stable, keeps the propeller in the water, keeps the whole thing controllable. Simple engineering, makes complete sense. But here is where the problem begins.
Before we go further, if you are not subscribed yet, do that right now. Because by the time this video ends, you are going to want to share it with somebody. And you need to be subscribed first so you don't miss what comes after this. Now, I need you to pay attention here, because this is the part that nobody talks about. When they pump that seawater into the ballast tanks, they are not pumping just water. Ballast water may carry bacteria, microbes, small invertebrates, eggs, cysts, and larvae of various species. Think about what that means. They pump water from a port in China. That water contains organisms, bacteria, tiny creatures, eggs, larvae, everything that lives in Chinese coastal waters. The ship travels for weeks across the ocean. Those organisms are sitting in the ballast tanks, surviving. Some of them are multiplying. The ship arrives at a port in Brazil. They need to take on cargo, so they pump the ballast water out, right there, into Brazilian coastal waters. And everything that came from China, every organism, every larvae, every bacteria is now released into a completely different ocean ecosystem. An environment it has never been in before. An environment that has no natural defense against it. Ballast water discharge typically contains a variety of biological materials, including plants, animals, viruses, and bacteria. These materials often include non-native nuisance and exotic species that can cause extensive ecological and economic damage to aquatic ecosystems, along with serious human health issues, including death. Now let me show you what this actually looks like in real life. The zebra mussel, a small striped shellfish native to Eastern Europe. In the 1980s, it arrived in the Great Lakes of North America inside ballast water from a European ship. Nobody planned it. Nobody knew. The ship pumped its ballast water and left. Within years, the zebra mussel had spread across the entire Great Lakes system. It attached itself to pipes, water treatment facilities, power plant intake systems, blocked them completely. The economic damage ran into billions of dollars. And it is still there today, 40 years later. It cannot be removed. More than half of all marine invasive species are attributed to transfers by global commercial shipping, with around 10,000 species estimated to have been transported in ballast water. 10,000 species moved from where they belong to where they do not belong by ships carrying water that nobody ever questioned. You were worried about plastic in the ocean. You were worried about oil spills. Those are real problems. But this one is happening on every voyage of every cargo ship on every ocean right now. And most people have never heard of it. If you are still here, you are the type of person who actually wants to understand how the world works. Subscribe now so you don't miss the next one, because what we show you next week will make this look simple. Now, to be fair, the world noticed. The International Maritime Organization adopted in 2004 the International Convention for the Control and Management of Ships' Ballast Water and Sediments to control the environmental damage from ballast water. This convention, which came into force in 2017, requires ships to treat their ballast water before discharging it, kill the organisms before they reach the new environment. How do they treat it? Some ships use UV light to kill the organisms inside the tanks. Some use chemical treatment. Some use filtration systems that physically remove the creatures before discharge. Modern ships being built today come with ballast water treatment systems already installed. But here is the problem. There are tens of thousands of older ships still operating on the world's oceans right now. Ships built before these regulations existed. Ships that are still pumping untreated ballast water into ports around the world every single day. Retrofitting every one of those ships with treatment systems costs money, enormous amounts of money, and not every shipping company is doing it fast enough. So while the regulation exists, the problem continues.
The next time you see a cargo ship, do not just think about what is in those containers. Think about what is in those ballast tanks. Billions of liters of water collected from one side of the world being carried to another, carrying organisms that do not belong there, that have no natural predators there, that can and do destroy entire ecosystems when they arrive. The ship is not just moving goods, it is moving entire pieces of the ocean's biology from one place to another, without asking permission, without anyone stopping it at the border. That water has no passport, no customs check, no inspection. It just arrives. And whatever came with it, stays. Now, I know there is somebody in your life who has no idea this is happening. Send this video to them right now, because the ocean has a problem that most people are walking past every day.